You're listening to the Full Court Press with your host, Drew Duncan. Don't you dare touch that dial. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Full Court Press. I am your host, Drew Duncan. You guys are checking me out live from the K-Sun Studios in Wichita, Kansas. You know the rap sheet. I am on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all at DrewDuncan83. Of course, you can listen all day, every day at ksunradio.org. That's KSUN radio.org. Terrelle Pyror and Marcus Peters have officially made it to the top of my awesome list. Terrelle Pyror and Marcus Peters went ham on fans on Monday night, and it's all over the place, and I'm loving every minute of it. And there's no apologies needed to me. There are none. You want to job with football players? You want to tell them to F them? Well, guess what? Terrelle Pyror is going to look right back at you and say, F me? Nah, bro. F you. Flip you off. Keep it pushing like nothing even happened. That is so awesome. That is too awesome, as a matter of fact. Terrelle Pyror. No, bro. F me? F you. I don't care. Catch me outside. How about that?
Catch me outside. How about that?
Oh, man. Look, man, when you're at a football game, you have the right to cheer, to boo, to say you hate calls, all that kind of stuff. And if you want to heckle players, then you go right on ahead, bro. Do that. To me, it is what it is. Some fans choose to get very involved in the game. Some fans think that they're a part of the team. We all know part of the team guy. You know, the guy who's walking around in a circle before the game starts. He's got his favorite player's jersey number on, but it's got his name on it. Or he's got his own number with his nickname on the back. And he thinks that he's actually part of the team. He starts jumping up and down when they're getting ready to come out of the tunnel. He thinks he's one of the guys that are about to take the field. He needs to strap it on one last time. Everybody knows that guy. And some of these fans that are heckling these men, to me, are that guy. So, no, I don't take issue with Terrelle Pyror telling fans what they can do. And what is this thing about professionalism? It's just not professional. You know, he needs to step up and be the bigger man. Why? I thought we were all grown adults here. I thought that we were men here. I mean, if anybody, people, well, there's kids at the game. They're watching him do this. They're also watching fans do this. Well, they don't look up to the fans. They don't emulate what they see other fans do. Kids don't look and see what other people do at all, just the football players. There's nobody there other than the athlete that is supposed to adhere to a higher way of living, that is supposed to take the higher road. If you don't want your kids to act like that, then I'm under the impression that you should show them the right and wrong way to act when they're in public. Come on, how many times have you been out to dinner and you've heard that one kid who's just out of control and you think to yourself, well, that parent really needs to control their child. So maybe when they see somebody else do this, you as the parent, it's time to have a sit down with your kid. Hey, look, I know what you saw at the football game was a couple of guys jawing with each other. You know, sometimes being an adult is a little complicated. Things aren't always so black and white. But I don't ever want to see you act like that. And I'll tell you why. Number one, it's inappropriate. It's inappropriate to use foul language where everybody can see it. It's inappropriate to use that gesture where everybody can see it. When you're at home and you're in your own place, that's kind of one thing. It's between you and other adults. But when you're out in public, it just doesn't look good for you. Some people get a bad taste in their mouth when you emulate those types of actions. It's not professional to carry yourself that way. What if that fan's boss had seen him act like that on television? What if that guy got pinpointed? Is it worth your job? Of course it's not, son or daughter. My child, it is not worth it. So, that's what you do as the parent. Me personally, if that was me and I saw that, I would probably tell my kid, hey, look, you know what? They're grown men. They really shouldn't be acting like that. But you know what? Sometimes in the heat of the moment, things like that occur. And Marcus Peters did it too. Kansas City Chiefs defensive back Marcus Peters was catching it as well from some of the fans. You know, Marcus Peters basically was like, look, dude, it's heat of the battle, which is exactly how it goes. Here's what Marcus Peters said. Hell no, they weren't attacking me. I killed my damn self. You feel me? I should have kept backpedaling on that first touchdown, got a little push in the back, but it's the game of football. Because, see, this all came after that touchdown pass that was, by the way, caught by Terrelle Pryor. Marcus Peters thought it was a push-off initially, but at the end of the day, he admitted that he should have been able to stop him. He went on to say, I came out and I was hella weak today. I gave up 2 touchdowns, but we came out with a victory. So I'm going to take it as a learning experience. We're going to chalk it up and go in the meeting room, and then, you feel me, kick back, chill, and relax. So there's all that. By the way, Andy Reid would finish up saying, listen, I love the compete in the kid, and I appreciate his work ethic and everything else. But as professionals, that's not something we want to take place. There we go with the as professionals. They're professionals. Andy Reid closed out by saying, obviously I had a chance to see what took place, and we can't go in that direction, so it's been addressed. You know, honestly, Andy Reid is probably just giving what you want to hear speech. Yeah, I took care of it. He made a mistake. You know, Marcus Peters is getting into it too. Chiefs fans are heckling their own guys, and they're responding to it. This ain't the first time we've seen something like this. Phillip Rivers in that playoff game against the Colts, remember when he got hurt and he was jawing on the sideline with all those fans? Oh, and nobody will ever forget Shannon Sharp. Call the president. Tell him to bring SWAT. We are killing the New England Patriots.
I'm calling the president. President, we need a National Guard. We need as many men as you can spare because we are killing the Patriots. So call the dogs off. Send the National Guard, please. They need emergency help. Please help these folks.
Oh, there we go. Bit of a misquote. But still, everybody remembers that. Shannon Sharp going in on fans. Sharp is the all-time smack talker. If people don't like it, oh well. You know, Sharp is one of those guys that can get away with it. I guess because what he did was kind of indirect and it was also clean. So part of me understands that. People will say, well, Shannon did it the right way. But either way, all of it is funny to me. Look, I don't care. I think that we overblow so much of this stuff, man. Let these guys get some release. Terrelle Pryor just lost a really hard game of football. And everybody deals with a loss a different way. Look, I am the first guy that will tell you to win like a champion and to lose like a champion. But losing like a champion, to me, is not getting on television and going, hey, look, we're blaming the refs. across the board. It's the referee's fault. It's got to be this guy's fault. It's got to be that guy's fault. It was the coach's fault. It was play calling. It was everything else but anything that I did. I'm held innocent here. That's the stuff that I don't like. I don't think that either one of these guys took it too far. We're not talking about anybody getting extremely violent. We're not talking about anybody knocking heads off. We're not talking about anybody doing anything that's, atrocious or, nothing happened to me that you look at it and you go, you know what, this is so vile and detestable what happened after the fact. None of that happened. It's just guys exchanging words. Grown men do that stuff all the time. And guys know when you're in your circle of men, you say a lot of things, especially when a new guy comes into the circle, right? What's the first thing you do? You give him all the heckling that he can handle because you're testing him. You're seeing what he's made of. If he can handle it, you're in. If you can't handle it, bro, you don't belong. It's just guy stuff. How can we just continuously label these guys as villains every single time that we do or that they do something that we think is detestable, more specifically when they're reacting to something? I understand people who are saying you need to be the adult, you need to be the bigger player. I'm not going to completely dismiss that argument. But what I am saying is I think sometimes we've got to relax, and we've got to understand our part too. If you tell a guy F you after a bad play, after a bad football game, after a tough loss, after anything, and I mean, this isn't the first time. I remember one of the last times back in the early 90s when the Chiefs won a playoff game, it was against the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? And I remember very vividly Rod Woodson getting kicked out of that game, and on his way out, fans are throwing beer at him, right? They're throwing beer on Rod Woodson. And so he starts like leaping up trying to grab guys. You threw beer on the man. What is he supposed to do? Because he's a professional athlete, he's supposed to take beer being thrown at him. That's okay for you to do, but it's not okay for Rod Woodson or anybody else to react. That is a hypocritical standpoint. Just like fighting. When fights break out in football, it doesn't belong in the game. It's not a part of the game. We don't need that at the NFL level. We just don't. Really? But it's okay in baseball for guys to empty the benches. In hockey, it used to be the loser of the fight would be the one sent to the penalty box. Sometimes, man, you just got to let it out. It used to be in my day, when you got into a fight with somebody, afterwards, you had a beer. And that was it. You let it out, man. You got it all over with. And and I'm not saying that that's the acceptable way to handle things at all times. I'm not saying that there's not a time and a place for everything. It's not what I'm talking about here. What I'm telling you is if you are going to come after somebody, for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. And Terrelle Pryor and Marcus Peters gave you those reactions. If you don't want those, then don't do anything. Playing the game is different than dealing with the fans. Some people haven't been athletes having to deal with fans. So I just don't take issue with it. This is the Full Court Press. I am your host, Drew Duncan. You guys are checking me out live from the K-Sun Studios in Wichita, Kansas. I am on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all at DrewDuncan83. We're going to take a quick sponsor break. When we come back on the other side, the New England Patriots, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Additionally, later on, we're going to be talking about Todd Gurley pleading fans to come see Rams games, but it's not the reason that you may think. We'll be back right after this. Don't you dare touch that dial.